Hey guys, what is cracking? Somebody give me a 5 for 5 and we'll go right on through it, baby. This is going to be a quick one. I say that every time, but guess what? This time it's going to be. It's just a little bit out of sync here. I don't like to stream this close to when Marth and Dex getting ready to go on. I didn't even send them notifications because they're probably getting ready for their show. So I didn't want to do that to them. But if you guys could, with that being said, please share this out real quick. Also, hey Ron, good to see you, man. Hey IG, good to see everybody. Let me just say this from the beginning here, guys. I will be changing my intro. I'm probably still going to use the same one you just seen, but I'm just going to use that and roll right into the show. I think I'm wasting too much time at the beginning. Just kind of sending out notifications and stuff like that. So what's going to happen is I'll just send the notifications out and then, you know, kind of go live. I'll be ready to go before I do that. So just so you guys understand, that's going to change. So don't think that, you know, if I go live, if you see me go live, that you got a couple minutes. You're not going to have a couple minutes. If you want to catch the beginning of it, you're going to have 30 seconds probably. You'll probably still see that one screen. This one here, I can show it to you real quick. Let's do this. New intro. Okay. Let me turn the audio off. This one right here, you'll probably still see that one. For about 10 seconds. Hey, thanks, Full of Hope. Thanks for the gifted membership. Hey, Miss Dragon. Hey, guys, if you haven't seen Miss Dragon's channel, a lot of you guys might not know that she has a channel. Go over and check it out. She's doing some really good stuff over there. Really informative stuff. She has a really good take on using the number 1 for prayers and stuff. Go check that out if you would. Miss, you can always drop your link in the chat there if you want. Don't ever feel guilty about doing that. Nobody gets anywhere on the YouTube platform without help. And that's one way I can give back to you guys, by allowing you guys to put your links and stuff in there. Believe me, I didn't get to 60,000 subscribers without a lot of help. So I'll just say that. Sad day, huh? Yeah, West Texas. Yeah, I just, yeah, I'll just leave it at that. I don't really want to go too much into detail on that right now. That's just, yeah, lots of things. But, yeah, I'm missing the whole why is it sad day thing. I'm not sure if I missed some news or something, but thanks again, Full of Hope, for that, gifted membership. Thank you for all the support you've been giving the channel and everything. I really do appreciate that. Anybody else, guys, we have a good time over on those member streams. I've been trying to do them once a week, so we're becoming more and more kind of consistent. We're finding a groove, and it's going to continue to get better. Hey, Angel, good to see you. All right, so we're just going to jump into the space weather here now. Again, guys, I know that Martha and Dex are getting ready to go live probably here very shortly. If you guys get a notification that they go live, please go watch them and come back and watch me on replay. I try my best not to be on while they're on, or even me and Trinity's been talking in the background when she's going live. We really do try not to go live at the same time. And sometimes it's just not possible. Sometimes we all got to go at the same time. That's happened before. But you know, when we got our schedules throughout the day and they just don't line up and there's nothing we can do about it, we will, you know, we'll all stream at the same time in that situation. But on a normal day, we really do try to go around each other. And I look when Ron's going live. I look when everybody's going live. I try to pick out a time that works for everybody. But the fact of the matter is, I got so many great friends here on YouTube, and a lot of them have channels. There's just no way to get around everybody every time. It's impossible. So that's, you know, so we do try to work with each other though in the background. If you guys don't already know that, I'm sure you do. Okay, so listen, guys, we have a geomagnetic storm. Well, I guess at this point it's a warning. And I'm calling it that because that's what NOAA is forecasting, the G2 storm. They're thinking that the X-flare that we had is going to give us a side blow. That's what their models are showing. Now, whether or not that actually pans out, I don't know. But what I will say, and I'm going to show you guys some stuff here in a minute, I guess the first thing I should show you is that model, okay? Well, I tell you what, before I show you that model, I'm going to show you the eruption first. Just so everybody has a good base of what we're talking about here. I believe was it on the 28th or 27th? It was the 28th, wasn't it? Or 27th. Okay, so we'll go back here to the 27th. There it is. Okay. Now, if you remember me talking about this when it happened, remember I said it kind of looked like we might have had a little bit of a shock wave come kind of it right here, right in the middle of the sun, into the Earth strike zone a little bit. And if you remember what I said we might catch a side blow. Now, let me just say this. I didn't really expect it to be at the level of a G2. So there's some things here that they seen that I didn't. Their models are seeing it. And I think what's happening here, guys, is, again, this is a massive eruption. Like I said, this was an X flare that came in at an X 2.8. And in all reality, it probably would have been like an X10. And I'm not just saying that. I mean, that's just the truth. The sun occulted a lot of that X-ray. In other words, the sun was in between the sunspot and the flare, and the sun got in between that and us. So the sun was just blocking a lot of it anyway. So just saying, okay? But this is a big eruption. So, okay. So when we get this big eruption right here, and you guys heard me with my rundown, if you guys watched the previous live stream, I went through over on SDO, which is here, okay? This is the extreme ultraviolet, and I showed you guys on the 211, right? If you guys remember that, you might not remember it, but that's what I did. I guess I could go back and show it to you again. Let's do that, okay? What I'll do is I'll just take this back another 300 frames, and we'll be able to see that when that X-flare happened on this one. And we'll change it on this one also, the 131. Because I think it's important to see all of it while I'm trying to explain to you guys why NASA is actually disagreeing with NOAA. Their two models are not agreeing, is what I'm trying to say. So NASA's model saying, hey, this thing's going to miss us completely. And NOAA's model is saying, no, it's not. It's going to hit us. And I'm not trying to split hairs. It's just what is actually going on. Now, again, is this a big time news? Only in the sense that with the glancing blow, we don't typically see them give us a geomagnetic storm watch with the glancing blow to G2. So that right there is also telling you that X-flare, the eruption with it, the CME, was pretty powerful. Now, they're not forecasting this until late tomorrow. Okay, we're talking, let's see here, that's 3, 6, 9 hours. So about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, UTC, let's see here, 3, 6, 9, 12, 3. Yeah, so, well, around 6, I guess. 6 UTC, which would be 2 p.m. Eastern tomorrow, is when they're forecasting this to start hitting. All right? But, so let me show you their model here. And I'm trying to do this in a way that everybody understands what I'm saying here. It does get a little complicated to try to explain this. And the reason why is because there's so many different models that have to be taken in consideration here to really give you the best idea. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say that it's going to miss, and I'm not going to sit here and say it's going to hit. Other than I'm seeing some stuff in the data that's showing that it may already be hitting, which would also lead us to assume that it got here early, which means that it would be moving faster than what they thought, which would mean that it's going to be stronger. Okay? And that's all in theory, but that's all that, and I'll show you what I mean here in just a second. But anyway, this is NOAA's model of the CME tracker. They give us 2 days historic data, and they try to forecast out 5 days. And all of you guys that's ever watched me for any length of time know I do not trust this thing out 5 days. I just don't trust it. It's wrong too many times. It can give you kind of a general, hey, something's coming, but the time frame on it is always almost wrong. Okay. Now, once it gets to a couple days out, yeah, I start looking at it a lot harder. Okay? So we're going to take a look at this, and as I move forward here, you're going to see exactly what they're trying to forecast. So you see the CME, right? I showed you guys the X-flare over here. Well, I guess I didn't yet. I showed it to you on Soho, but we'll look at it here real quick. Where'd it go? Did I not go back far enough again? Hold on a minute. What time did that thing happen? I forget. I think it was close to the beginning of the day. Nope. It's not on the 28th. It's on the 27th, isn't it? Yeah. Okay. That's why. Okay. Hold on a minute, guys. I got to go back even further. Sorry. So we'll do that. I forgot it was 27th, not 28th. All right. So anyway, while that's loading, I'll show you the X flare here in a minute. But this is the flare. This is the CME related with that flare. Okay. Now you can see up here on the top is density. Here on the bottom, that would be your velocity, the speed. So you can see it both. Now this is our inner solar system, and they make it real simple here. The sun, and that's Earth. Now these two dots are stereo A and stereo B. I don't think stereo A is right here anymore. Okay, I think it's on this side. To be honest, I don't know what's going on with that, but that is what it is, right? But these colors correspond with the colors of line here. So what that's trying to tell you is the conditions where that satellite's at. Okay, and also it gives you the conditions of Earth with the top line, the green line, because that's the color of Earth there, right? So, as we go through this, you're going to see that it blows off. You know, now, I will say this. North-south, it's a direct smack dab in the middle. So, in other words, when it blew off almost equatorial with the sun on the ecliptic. Okay? The ecliptic, you can pretend the equator of the sun explodes out and keeps going forever. It's an imaginary line, right? And we use that as a reference to say, hey, something's north of the ecliptic or south of the ecliptic. It gives us a reference point so we can explain things better. The Earth orbits the sun very close to the ecliptic. It does go up and down a little bit. A lot of people don't know that. Also, all the other planets are orbiting in their positions. Neptune, I believe, it really moves around quite a bit. Some of the planets move up and down quite a bit, okay? Because they're in just kind of a slanted orbit. That's why. And it's not massive slanted or anything like that, but it's more than what we do, okay? If we were to change the angle of our orbit, really not even that much, our climate would change. It wouldn't change drastically at first, but depending on how much that would move, it changes the angle of everything. So, perspective is 100% everything when we're talking about this stuff. I mean, everything I talk about here, you have to understand where you're looking from. If you don't understand where you're looking from, then you can't have any idea what direction things are going, what the satellite models are trying to show you. Because I can take you guys over to this thing and say, hey, yeah, this is this is that, and this is this. But if I don't show you where this satellite's at, you have no idea which direction that is. What if I told you the satellite was 180 degrees flipped on its head? Right? If that was actually true, and I showed you this particular image, you would think that this is going south of Earth, right? And it is. But if the opposite was true, and I showed you this and didn't tell you that, it would be going north. So that's just a way to explain, hey, perspective is everything, really. It just really is. Hey, Deepquake, good to see you, bud. Thank you, bud. Appreciate you. Yeah, guys, you're going to see a lot of people flipping over to the orange color there. That means they're into their 3rd month of consecutive memberships. And I tell you what, old Deep Quake has earned his by gifting so many. I tell you, I just can't tell you how much I am appreciative. So thank you, Deep Quake. Wife says thank you too. She tells me to say that to you guys all the time. But she is. She just is as grateful as I am, if not more. Okay, so I explained the ecliptic, so you know north-south. This is a side cut. You're looking at the inner solar system here, really just the sun and the earth from the side. So north-south looks like it's going to hit pretty dead on. But then you look at the top-down versions here, and it's showing you, hey, this thing should be going, you know, would be the east, which is reversed when you're looking at the sun. Okay? So if you're looking at, you got to pretend you're standing on the sun when you're looking at east-west. I usually try to refer to it as left-right just because it helps people understand. But anytime talking about anything in space with the sun and stuff, east-west is typically reversed. Okay? So remember that. North-south stays the same, but east-west changes. So that would be actually east. It misses Earth to the left. That's what I'll just say right there. Hopefully that helped people understand that. But as you see this, again, this is NOAA's model. So they're thinking this is going to be a pretty dense hit. Look, this says 30. 4 is normal, and 30 is actually very significant. Okay? That's pretty dense. And at the same time, they're saying that it's going to be fast. Right around 700 kilometers per second. That's getting real close to 2 million miles per hour. Okay? That's pretty fast. It's not breakneck speed or anything, but it's pretty fast. Especially when it's pushing particles at 30 on the density reading. Okay, so you got higher density moving fast. Yeah, that is a recipe for a little bit of a harder hit. And something else I found really interesting, okay, and I'm going to explain this to you guys because I thought this is what was going on with that X-flare, and I just didn't say it because I wasn't sure, okay? If you guys watch right here, oops, you're going to see this thing at the end almost look like it splits into two. You see that right there? We're really looking at two separate CMEs that's getting counted as one. And I'll explain to you what I mean here in just a second. They fired off so close to each other that it just looked and it appeared to be one. But with that being said, if this is in fact two separate CMEs, then you're going to have a shock wave in between these two. The snowplow effect will come in and play a part. So instead of just getting one hit by one CME, now you'll get one hit from the CME, the shock wave, and then the next hit. And if you look here, you do get a little bit of a bump. So maybe that's what this is seeing. I don't know. Maybe that's what they're thinking. But I was thinking this the other day when I was looking at this thing. So I'll show it to you what I mean. Okay, so here's the X-flare. If I could get it back far enough, I'm about to get mad at this thing. This is ticking me off. So let's take it back even further. How about that, guys? Let's take it back even further. You can only go back 300 images at a time. It's ridiculous. Hey, J. Paz. Wrench looks good on you, brother. Hey, Ricky. Daniel. Kathleen, good to see you. Good to see you, girl. Let's see here. Hey, Daniel, good to see you, man. Ain't seen you in a minute. give me a roll call in there, guys, if you would. Give me a region where you're at while this thing is loading. Okay, there it loaded, but still give me a roll call if you would. And just kind of listen to what I'm saying and watch what I'm doing here. I've already showed you guys this eruption, obviously. But I'm going to take a little bit of time here and just explain to you what I think is happening. And again, I can be wrong, but according to the models, it really does look like what I thought was happening. And again, maybe I should have just said it. I don't know, because at that point it would have just been an opinion. I would have had nothing to show you but this, and that's why I didn't say it. So anyway, you get the initial blast, right? Boom. Okay, yeah, you see all that plasma, but you guys remember, if you go back and listen to my live stream, remember what I said. Didn't I say that it looked like it was almost two separate flares? It's like you have two sources of light there. So watch this. Okay, see how long that held on? I do believe there for a second, when that second light source showed up, that was so close to that first one that there was another CME right, I mean, it's right on its tail, to the point where we could almost count it as just one CME. But it seemed to be two separate eruptions, and I'm saying that because when you look at these, how the camera interprets the light here, we get these X patterns from the bright light, and you could clearly see that there's really two separate light sources here as far as position where the flares at are on the sun. And if you look at that, that even shows it more. So let me show you what I'm talking about. And again, guys, I could be wrong. You see how this, and this is what made it so difficult, because this was on the backside of the sun when this erupted. This is the sun occulted most of the X-ray, like I said. But can you guys see how there's a split here? It's like it flared twice, but it flared at the same time, or really close to the same time, and they both produced. The first time it really produced a big CME, and then the one that happened like almost immediately after seemed to be just a little bit less. So let me that ain't working. Let's do it this way. Okay. So if I back it up here, we'll go back to the eruption here. So you get this initial blast, right? Now you see you got one source of light right there, right? One centered point of light. And then see how it kind of split? And it almost looked like I had another eruption kind of down here or even up here. It was hard to see. So, yeah. So I do think that that's what's happened. Now, again, does it really matter? I'm just trying to explain to you guys what I go and look at and how I look at things, okay? That's the only reason why I'm kind of going in depth here, and because the models are disagreeing. If the models were on the same page, you know, maybe I wouldn't be even talking about this. I don't know. But after seeing the NOAA model show this right there, okay, and again, you also have to keep in mind, you see this? Okay, that's basically solar wind, and so that could be part of it also. But if you look real close, it's separated all the way through here. So I'm just not certain, okay? I'll just say that, but it does look like it's two. So I'll just leave it at that. And if it is two, then we're getting like three separate hits. Okay, you get the first initial, the shockwave in between. It basically becomes a really close-knit cannibal CME. Okay, so, and like I said, you can see the initial hump here, right? But then what do you see here? Another little hump, and it drops back down, and then another hit. You guys seeing that? Same thing with the speed. So that's kind of what, I mean, you can really see it here from the conditions at Stereo B. You got three separate things there, like I just explained. So, you know, maybe that's what's going on. Maybe it's not. I really can't give you 100% on that. But something else I want to point out, as I was setting up for this and I looked at this, we're getting a flare right now. Whether it gets to M class, I don't know. But you can see right here on the end, the X-ray is going up. So who knows? Also, our geomagnetic activity is rising. If you look at it right here, the forecast for right at this moment would be a 1.67. This next line should be down here on 1, would be their forecast. Okay? Hey! Deep Quake, thank you. Appreciate that. Awesome stuff, man. Thank you again. Man, you're just, wow. 10 memberships again. Wow, man. You just never cease to amaze me. So grateful, man. Thank you. Very generous. And guys, don't forget, who else became a member there? Let me see. Is that Daniel? Welcome to Red Kool-Aid, baby. Heck yeah. You've been a member because you got your orange. You know why he can do that, guys? Anybody that's a member, every time the month rolls around, they give you basically a free super chat. So remember that if you're a member, you can come in here and go down the little $sign, click on it, and it'll give you that option. You can leave a free super chat. Ask a question, say whatever you want, whatever you want to do in that. I really like that feature. So you guys are getting something for that. You know what I mean? Okay, so I don't want to drag this out, guys. So I'm going to go ahead and go to the NASA model here, because I do know that Marv and them are going to go live probably really shortly. Okay, so this is what NASA's saying. Yeah. So this may not be that X flare. It might have been the other eruption after. But again, remember what I said. If you look at the time frame, it doesn't really line up with the 27th. So I don't think this is the X flare. I won't be able to show it to you because I can't go back and see this data. But I do know when I first seen it on the NASA model, it was missing. NASA was saying it wasn't going to hit. You know what, though? We might have another way to look at that. Because spaceweather.com, Dr. Tony Phillips was talking about this too. Okay, here's the NASA. See these hyperlinks? There's the NOAA model, which I just showed you guys. Here's the NASA model. There's the X flare. Okay? See how it misses? Now, it looks like it barely misses, but it still misses. And even here on our orbit stretched out in a straight line, it misses. So the NASA model is clearly saying, hey, you know, maybe we'll get a... Sometimes when those things give us what the quote-unquote glancing blow, it's more of the wake of the eruption that hits you. Okay? It's not really the CME itself. You got to picture it all like it's moving through water, all right, like a boat. That's why we call it a bow shock. Okay? So our magnetic, our magnetopause has a bow shock. Our magnetic field, first point of contact with solar wind, is our bow shock. And it looks very similar to a boat going through water. So that's why they use those terms. So kind of keep that, in mind, guys. But this is NASA's version of that, and this is what they're thinking is going to happen. Again, I can't say. I really can't. This is one of those things that we're going to have to wait to see. Does it mean that we're going to get this big old humongous blast just out of the blue? No. That's why we're talking about it, because somebody out there is going to tell you that the world's going to end in 10 minutes, and it's going to be because the sun farted on us. I mean, that's just what happens, right? Ain't that a normal thing? The sun farts on us and we all die? I'm just kidding, by the way. But that's how I feel sometimes when I watch some other stuff. It really does. It gets annoying. Yeah. But we'll just keep moving. Okay. So, again, the two NASA models are disagreeing. Now, or the NASA and the NOAA model are disagreeing. So what we got to go off of, though, guys, is the official forecast. That's what I will always go back to, the official forecast, if the two models are disagreeing, unless I have such a clear picture that it's wrong in my own mind. I will always go back and say, hey, this is most likely what's going to happen. And it does look like this is most likely what's going to happen. Just to be honest with you, because it does look like we could be catching some sort of blow from that. And to kind of confirm that stuff, I went over here and looked at the space weather data All day today, for whatever reason, okay, we were in -6 on the BZ and even further, right? Now, we talk about the BZ a lot. We look for -6 and more. And I'm not going to go into some big explanation tonight on that, other than just to say, hey, that's the threshold we look at to really start considering geomagnetic hits that really affect our magnetic field and give us geomagnetic storms. If that was in the positive, typically we won't see a big, huge hit. Now, we can with huge eruptions, but we look for the -6, and it stayed there. But check out what happened, okay? You can kind of see things start moving. You hear me call this popcorn a lot. All that means is the conditions are fluctuating, because the data point on this thing is entered into this graph just like I just said. It's a point. It's a dot. Just like your TV makes an image, what makes the image is dots that line up, or dots in a certain pattern with a certain color, and that's what you see with your eyeballs. And it looks like a smooth line, right? Well, the same thing happens here. When the data points are so close together, time after time after time after time, the same reading, they appear to make a straight line. But when they start doing this popcorn stuff, that means things are happening, things are moving up and down. So that's why I point that out. Now, here on the end, guys, look. For whatever reason, the BZ just took a dive to the south, negative, okay? The phi angle, which is the polarity of the solar wind itself, flipped, and it happens all the time, guys. The phi angle flips multiple times a day, a lot, okay? So the phi angle flipped, the BZ is going negative right now. We are sitting right now at a -7, okay? The density is rising and jumping around, fluctuating, and the speed's going up. So what's happening? Right? This very much resembles some sort of solar wind hit of either CME or just a solar wind stream. Now, I didn't say that about this back here because things really stayed pretty stable. They started moving all at the same time right here when all this started happening. So is that going to send us into a geomagnetic storm? I don't know yet. But what I'm saying is, if this hit right here is this arriving 12 hours early, you know what that means, right? That means it's moving faster than they forecasted, and that will mean that it's going to hit harder. Now, I cannot say that that's actually what's happening, but what I will say is, right now, I can tell you that we are getting some sort of hit. And so what we're going to do, we will look at the Magnetopause models real quick and give you guys kind of a little broad overview here. This is going to show you really well that we're taking a hit of some sort, okay? This is speed, the velocity only. Shows you nothing more than the speed of the particles. This one here is density, okay? How dense the particles are. And this is magnetic pressure. And I can tell you without even running this movie that is a definite increase, okay? Yeah. So what we'll do, we'll look at the velocity up here. We'll bring it back to the beginning. Now remember the bow shock, like I said, that's the first point of contact of space weather and our magnetic field. Typically, space weather comes from the sun, which is why it's always bowed this way, right? Sun's off to the left. So let me grab this and do that. And you see it's starting to move around. Now you see right there on the end, and this is what I'm talking about. You see that? That's an increase in speed right there. And it's still happening, and look what it did to the magnetic field. Right here on the end, watch it compress. See that? So this is happening right this second. So I can't give you any more data than that. But what I will say, it doesn't do that unless you're getting hit with something. Okay, this is density. Higher dense particles show up as blue, darker blues. The lighter dense show up as white. Same thing. This isn't showing you speed. It's just showing you how dense things are. And the same as with the velocity. You see that right there? Even though it's small, You're seeing the difference, right? Right here on the end. And it does appear, because you can see it when it hits. Watch the density get more dense right here in the front. It's as if it's grabbing particles and pushing it back. Watch this. See that? Just right there on the end. And that would definitely correspond with this. Okay, so the data itself is matching up with this, is what I'm trying to say. And then you come back over here and you look at the magnetic pressure. And so what I'll do is I'll bring it back here. Now, we stayed kind of high today, and I do think it's probably because our BZ was in the negative almost all day. Okay, if any of these other factors had been high, these data points, density and speed, we could have had a geomagnetic storm very easily. But it just simply wasn't the case today. It's just the magnetic polarity orientation wasn't correct to really let that happen. So anyway, as I move here, so watch what happens with the pressure. I'm looking at this for the first time with you guys. I haven't looked at this yet. Yep, see that? That right there is confirming to me that we're getting hit right now. So the next question has to be, where's it coming from? Right? And I don't think I'm going to be able to give you a good answer on that right now. There were so many eruptions happening, and it would be a blatant guess just off of a visual. And I don't really like doing that. So, I mean, I could give you guys an opinion, I guess, if we go back here. We can look at Soho, and what we'll do, I typically will go back 3 days. Hold on a minute. Looks like we just had another eruption. I bet we did. Huh, let's look. Yep, sure did. That just happened, by the way. I tell you what, Trish, are you here? Every time, it seems like for the past few weeks, I'm on stream and we get some decent sized eruption. Anyway, yeah, that's a CME. So, I will say this: just judging by that, it doesn't look like it's going to hit us, but looks like it's going to go pretty far south. To be honest with you. But I'm not going to say it for sure because I'd have to look at the other stuff. Something else I've noticed with these recent eruptions, guys, we seem to be seeing these big concentrated balls of plasma a lot. Okay? We do see that from time to time, but they seem to be pretty prominent right now. So, and again, this is just, the initial look at this, for me anyway. So if we go back to this one, what eruption was this one? Let's see. Okay, that's the same eruption. So I get what I'll tell you about that. If that's the same eruption, it's moving slow. That's like a 5-hour difference. Look at that. Look at that, 1500. Yeah, 7. That's 7 hours different. Yeah, that thing would be moving slow. So what we'll do, we'll go up here and we'll look at the 30th. Let's see if we can see it. This is the whole day. Okay. Maybe they're on the end. Yeah. So, we can come over here to ISWA and see if we can't see it here, which we might be able to. So let me update this one. I'll update that one. We'll bring it to the most current. Okay, but before we do that, I do want to show you this 211. Because I was going to show it to you a minute ago, guys. So I can show you the shock wave of that X-flare. And I've already showed it to you before, but... Okay, so you guys see how that ripples through the corona? And it seemed like it stopped about right here. Which is why I said, hey, if this does hit us, it's going to be like a glancing blow side hit. And that's exactly kind of what they're forecasting. Okay? But I was really leaning towards not even getting hit by that thing at all. But I did, like I said before, this is why I nowcast, because other data comes in. I don't have access to immediate stuff like that. So, you know, you guys can get it just as fast as I can. And, yeah. So that was from the X-Ray there, though, guys. Let's go ahead and update this one, too. I want to see what this other eruption came from. It probably came from this sunspot over here, or maybe a filament release. Sorry, I got quiet there for a minute, but take it back. Okay, well, I'm not really seeing a whole lot. What time did that happen? I bet I gotta go back further. Look at that. What is up with that today? My gosh. Let's just take it back another 300 frames, see what we get. Let's see if we can't see something down here on the 131, though. Guys, those are just angstroms of light, and we see different gases. Yeah, I'm not seeing much there either. Yeah, I'm just not seeing much. I don't know where that came from, or because it was down here somewhere. Let me go back up here and see if we can't see it now. I guess that could be it right here. I really don't, I'm not seeing a whole lot without digging into it. I don't want to waste your guys' time. And it's not that big of a deal right now, I wouldn't think. Okay. Now, as I'm looking at this, as time goes on, you guys see how solid this is becoming? We're staying at a -6 or more negative, very consistent right now. So that is that, and also the speed is fluctuating and going up. And I'm sorry, that was the density, but the speed is consistently moving up. So all of those are indicating that we're probably getting the beginnings of the CME hit. It could be the wake. It could be a stealth CME that we just didn't see. All those things are possible. It just, it's just the way things happen sometimes. So if I take it, let's go back to the 27th again. Because if I remember right, I think there was a smaller eruption right before this one. And I think I mentioned it to you guys. Not really seeing it there. But one thing you are seeing is that sun diver on the 27th I pointed out to you. I'll take you guys back to that. We'll pause it when it's there. Right about where we at right there. See it right here? Watch it. It's going to go diving right in. Wham! Okay? So, yeah. There looked to be like there was a small CME here. So that actually could be, you see that kind of stretch out right there? So I guess that could be part of what we're getting hit with right now. I don't know. Or it could be, like I said, this one just arriving early. Your guess is as good as mine when it comes to that tonight. I really don't have a clear-cut answer for you guys. So, yeah, on that end of it. So, NASA and NOAA. I showed you guys both. I do think we're getting hit right now. If these things continue to move in the direction that they are, we're going to get into geomagnetic storming probably fairly quickly. If I take you guys back over to spaceweather.com, please go give Dr. Tony Phillips some love over here, guys. He does a great job. Again, I'm not going to sit here and read the articles to you. I would rather you guys go over here and read it for yourself and drive some traffic that way. I read this earlier today, and he's pretty much agreeing with what I said, I guess. But he was talking about a few other things here too. It wasn't just that. But yeah, so I do think that this is one of those things up in the air. But one more time, with us seeing this happen right now, yeah, we're going to have to watch this one pretty close. Because, again, the official forecast is at least a G2. So I'll just leave it at that. You know, now the next day, G2 also, okay? Why? Because they're thinking this is going to hit late in the day tomorrow and continue on to June 1st. So I'll just leave that at that. Okay. So, guys, I am going to go ahead and pop off. I think Marfugel is getting ready to go right now. Might have seen a notification come across. I think he went live like 6 minutes ago. Guys, please go over there and show him some love. A lot of you guys already know, okay? Most of you watch him anyway, but I'm always going to shout him out. Adam and Dex over there do a great job. I'm a moderator. Please get over there. Ripper, he's over there. He's a moderator with me. All you guys know that. Ron, guys, go over there with Ron and check out his earthquake stuff on his channel, Emergency Management Associates. IG or Isaiah's Granny and Ricky are over there a lot. Hey, Stephanie, good to see you. T and AZ, good to see you. Daryl, Angel, Monica, Dr. J-Man, Daniel, thanks to all the members. Deepquake, thank you again for the 10 gifted memberships. You guys are awesome. What's up, Daryl, George, Mary? Good to see all you guys. You guys get to use some cool emojis too. So I am going to go ahead and pop off, guys. Go over to Marfugel, please. Do me a favor. Just go on over there. Show him some love. All right, guys. God bless. Yahusha saves. And I'll give you any other updates. And always remember, you can drink this Kool-Aid.